What's up, everyone? It's Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we are live for the next hour or so. We are live answering any and all dog questions, but most importantly, the topic of today is what to do with your dog during the holidays. Well, oftentimes I have to push back on people's need to have their dog be involved in every single interaction or every single situation. And in doing so, having your dog out all the time, when you have your guests over, when you have anything, it doesn't matter. Not even when you have guests over, it doesn't even start there. It starts how controlling or involved or included your dog feels he or she can be in your day-to-day lives. That's where it starts. And what I mean by that is, some of you guys out there have a dog who won't let you go to the bathroom without them being right there staring. They won't let you, they'll follow you around the house. You guys know what I'm talking about. A lot of you have a clingy glue type of dog. Well, that same type of dog is going to want to also manipulate the people that come over. They're going to try and dictate their behavior as well. They're going to some of them try and make their lives as convenient as possible and don't give a darn about what you feel about it or how you feel about it. For my German Shepherd owners out there, for my Australian Shepherd owners out there, for my any dog that's predisposed to be protective or hurting, don't be surprised when they try to control your guests too, children included. So think about that. Think about it. The goal is, yes, to be able to one day include your dog in all that stuff, not have to put your dog away or not have to worry if your dog is going to annoy and or harm one of your guests, your family members. A lot of folks that I deal with, they don't even have family over. They can't. They don't have friends over. They can't. They don't have dogs come over. They can't. The dog says, nah, not in my house. This is my territory. I run this show. I'm going to jump on anybody who comes to that door, make them uncomfortable right away. I'm going to make like I'm happy about it, excited about it, because I'm happy when I see you and excited when I see you. And I jump on you too. So I get to jump on anybody. I jump on you guys. Some dogs take it as far as biting, barking, all that. When your guests come through the door and you got a dog who does all of that, it really becomes a situation where some people just don't want to deal with your dog because your dog's obnoxious. So, circling back to what that has to do with the holidays, guys, you'll be doing your dog a favor. If you have a dog that I just described, you'll be doing your dog a favor by putting your dog away. They do not have to be involved in everything. I want people to understand that. For some dogs, it's going to be necessary. For some situations, it's just going to be necessary. What you can do is you can give them their, you can meet their needs before the chaos comes to your house. So exercise them extra. Hell, the day before, take them to dog daycare so they're extra chill. You find it much easier to control them. Find they'll be able to control themselves if you give them some good exercise, especially if you're going to have people over. Tired dog is a good dog. So anyway, any of you guys that are watching, you can just interrupt me in my little rants at any time, and you can ask me a question. You got a question about anything that I just said too, feel free to ask. Yeah, so again, you'll be doing your dog a favor. Now, here's what I'd want you to do homework wise. You can't just put your dog away. It's just not enough. If your dog's going to be barking its head off wherever you put him away, that ain't doing anything. If your dog's going to be whining the whole time he's in the crate, wanting to get out, that ain't going to do anything. You must give them something to do while they're displaying their separation anxiety or whatever the heck it meant, their attempt to control your guest. Give them something to do. Sit down. That's going to help them calm themselves. But again, it's very important, and also it's very beneficial for the dog and you guys that they learn that they cannot make humans do what they want them to do. It's very good for a dog to just be able to be put in a crate while madness is going on and they just are at peace. But you can also, guys, teach them how to control their impulses. You can teach them how to become better overall with people and or dogs while the dog is in a crate. You can still address a lot of issues because the dog's still going to be feeling the same feeling that it would feel if it was out of the crate while it's in the crate. And now you have the opportunity to safely teach the dog that whatever you think about these people or dogs or cats or children, you can calm all that down. Again, we just have to know some dogs just become so used to being the center of attention at their own discretion that they just become extra pushy and annoying. And you don't want your dog to become annoying to the outside world because nobody's going to want to watch them and nobody's going to want to come over. It limits your world. Your world gets smaller the more spoiling that you do. The more you spoil your dog, it not only gives them a weird perspective of the world, but it also keeps them ignorant. It keeps them from maturing. So oftentimes when people bring me their dog, they are miseducated or uneducated about how to perceive their things that go on in the environment. For example, I just trained a Dalmatian, barking, going crazy at cars, other dogs, other humans. That is an uneducated dog. Older, maybe I think it was 2 to 3 years old, but didn't know what to do with things that are going to go on in the world anyway. Didn't know what to do, didn't know how to act properly. And so if we spoil them, again, they only get to mature to a certain, they only reach a certain level of maturity. You guys know, every one of you guys probably have experienced a grown man that acts like a little boy, immature. Guaranteed that little boy or that person was probably had life a little too easy. So you can advocate for your dog while the dog is in the crate and teach the dog not to be so manipulative of people while he's in the crate. And you must have um non-negotiable obedience. You must be able to address that dog's feelings, that dog's ambitions. You must be able to guide them through it. It's the perfect opportunity. We have to make sure we are guiding our dogs through stress. That's how they're going to be able to rely on us, as opposed to relying on themselves. That's going to get a dog to say, I don't have to go and jump on that person, bite that person, bark at that person. Why? Because not only did my owner tell me not to, but I also learned that it's not necessary to do so. So keep that in mind, guys. Just when I say put a dog in the crate, I'm not just saying just to not have to deal with them. Help them out. Keep them quiet. It's what I do here with your dogs for 3 weeks. I make them not I help them realize that they're not the center of attention. The world does not revolve around them. If they think that, then they're free to act and try and manipulate other things. Like you're barking at a car, and because you're a little bit fearful of it, but you still think you can do something because you're barking at it. And we can argue whether it's an obligation from the dog standpoint, or a lack of too many choices, or it's due to too many choices, the dog having too many choices. So, I got a question. Maddie says, should you ever cover the crate with a blanket? I don't tend to. Maybe in very certain circumstances, because I do believe that the dog should be able to see what you ultimately want the dog to become calm or get over. So, but maybe in certain special circumstances, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I just don't do it. So, yeah. All right, guys, those of you who just joined in, feel free to ask as many questions as you like to, and no question is a dumb question. Don't think that your question has to be related to the topic. It can be, you can ask me about potty training. I don't care. Anything, and everything, and all questions are welcome. Ruby says, hi, we got back to basics and now she's doing better since our move. Glad to hear it, buddy. Glad to hear it. She's a tough dog. You know, Cane Corsos are tough dogs. Some of them can be very pushy. Some of them can be insecure. Listen, this is why I think a lot of big dogs become so easily insecure, and then a lot of small dogs become so easily insecure, is because, again, big dogs can get their way but because they're big, and small dogs can get their way because they're small. The medium-sized dogs are the least likely to be spoiled as much as small dogs and big dogs. Big dogs, their presence just kind of takes precedence. Their presence, you know, they and little subtle and like, you know, little by little they learn that if they do this, then you'll do this for them. It can be something as simple as a lean. It can be something as simple as a whatever. Just their presence. Size matters. Same thing with small dogs. We tend to dismiss training the small dog to the same degree as a medium-sized dog because the threat of truly hurting someone or something is very it's not as big. Um, the other thing is with small dogs is obviously we have a we feel sorry for them because they're small. We're more likely to feel sorry for them because they're small, which in turn allows us to make excuses for their bad behavior. And that's why some small dogs are horrible. All right. Renee says, how do you convince a 6-month puppy that you won't cut her paws off when you trim nails? She's very loud and resistant to nail trimming, like ridiculous. Okay, so this is what you should do. Start it off by step, break it down. So if you've got a dog who won't let you trim nails, start by doing this. It ain't got nothing to do with nails, but start by getting the dog to lay down on its side and listen to the word stay. Add value to that word stay. That's going to be a pretty crucial command for a dog that is resistant to nail trimming to learn. Stay. Otherwise, they're constantly pulling back they're trying to get out of there. So, couple things. Tie the dog up like a groomer, or teach your dog to lay down on its side and relax. And not only is a good trusting exercise, but it also, again, makes it a lot easier for you to trim their nails when they're not on their feet. So get the dog to be lay down on its side, tell it to stay, and don't end the session ever. You can keep it as short as a minute or so, but don't end the session with her deciding that she wants the session to be done, which means when she's laying down and you're telling her to stay, you're holding her there. If she decides to just get up and that ends the session, then you just told the dog that if I attempt to end the session, I can end the session. So first and foremost, you got to work on stay. And that includes anywhere in their life too. It will help out. So if stay truly means stay, you can do a lot of cool things with your dog. You can get them from not reacting at the doctor's office, at the vet's office, if you tell them if they have a good stay. You can get a dog to do a lot of cool stuff with the word stay. You can bathe them easier. You can clean their ears easier. You can put collars on and off easier. You can pet your dog without going nuts. So work on that stay first and foremost, and then just work on touching the paws and touching the nails, and kind of massaging her up, you know what I mean, while getting her to stay. That's a good first step. And then get a little bit more specific with the nail touching, touch it with your hands and mess with them. And while telling her to stay, we're really showing her that we're not here to hurt her at all. But I need to show you something because it's for your benefit. So, try that out. I think I have a video on that. I think so. Anyway, those of you who don't know, I just released a socialization series. My last video is going to upload. I'm going to upload that thing. I'm going to upload it. Oh shoot, did I not upload it? Well, I'm going to upload it today after we get off live here, and then we're gonna. I want you guys to watch that though. It's the progression of an aggressive dog husky and how to introduce an aggressive dog to strange dogs. It's pretty good. Okay. Auntie, how you doing? Okay. My auntie says, "Hey Jeremy, our miniature schnauzer has been especially stubborn when we tell him that to come inside. He has gone to the bathroom, ran around, but refuses to come when I call him in." All right, auntie. Hey, this is what you do. This is like the hardest way, but the most reliable way. Okay, don't convince him with no treats, none of that crap. Um, you want to concentrate on when I say something, you must do. I'm saying so when you say come and he doesn't come, all you have to do is go get him and herd him in or chase him in, but put pressure on him. Let him know that when I say come, I want you to come. And do that for the next maybe 2 times. You might have to even just maybe do it once. But he's got to be convinced that when you say come and he doesn't listen, pressure's on. You're coming to get him. And you can say, "Get your butt in that house. I told you to get in that your butt in that house. Didn't I tell you to come? I told you you're not listening to me very well." And that's all fine and dandy. You're just putting pressure on them. Yes, no treats. Yes, Uncle is right now. Uncle is right. Shout out to Uncle Bernard. I missed y'all, man. But yeah, if he doesn't listen, make him do it. And then the next time you open that door and you say, "Come," he's gonna look up. He might look around, but he's gonna be like, "All right, well, she gonna come get me, so I might as well come." That is the hardest way because it takes the most energy on our part, but um, but it is the most reliable. They know if you give them something that kind of makes them a little uncomfortable and they want to avoid that, then they will choose to listen to you. Yes. So treat him like I did. Exactly. I was just about to say, hey, go mommy mode on them. You already know they know you don't play. So as long as he knows that, then all problems are solved. Okay. Absolutely. Yes. Keep me updated too. Let me know if that doesn't work. I got other ways, but that is the just most raw, reliable way to get any dog to come. I get them with all dogs. It doesn't work. It doesn't not work for any dog. All dogs do that. And all dogs will test you too with that. Every dog that I train, they're like, let's see how for real he is. Yeah, I'm gonna keep sniffing. And then they're like, oh, here he come. And sometimes all you got to do is act like you coming. Sometimes all you got to do is take 3 or 4 steps outside, and they, all right, okay. Then here he comes. Then so yeah, try that out. All right, next question. All right, Renee says she's getting better and better with the stay, doors, food, and toys. I will add laying on the side exercise. Yes, that's a good way. Or again, act like a breeder. Put a leash on the dog, tie it to a fence or whatever, somewhere it can't get away. The bottom line is don't allow the dog's attempt to get away work because they're always going to do that and use that option. Listen, there are creatures that will choose comfort over have to. And some dogs are easier on that than others, depending on how good your dog is, depending on how stubborn your dog is. Some dogs will fight and fight and fight and fight and fight. Some dogs will say, "Oh, okay, just what you want to do. Okay, fine." Some dogs takes a little bit more convincing than others. So keep at it. Oh, okay, we got another question. It says, "Hi, always happy to hear your professional opinion. I have a leash reactive dog towards dogs on walk. The prong creates an escalation. Any advice for another correction? Do you recommend using food?" No, I don't recommend using food. When you have a dog that is what I guess trainers call um, redirect, but this isn't necessarily redirection. It just is an escalation, but it's frustration on top of frustration. Okay, so a couple things. When you have a dog that is doing that, what you have to understand is that the tool a is a supplement. It is not the solution to the problem. Your voice, along with the tool, is the solution to the problem. So use more voice and less leash correction. I do this all the time with Rottweilers, with some German Shepherds, with some herding breeds. They get so frustrated that it does, and especially Rottweilers, um, it does ramp them up even more. It's like, oh, you're holding me back. Bah, I want to keep going, you know. So you have to use more voice. You have to make it clear that you want the dog to heel. You have to be able to alleviate all tension because the tension is going to add to the tension. And then you have to be able to, again, it's just more important. I work any dog with any tool. I can work them through it if I use more voice. But um but here's another solution. But that's the better one. But here's another solution. Another solution would be to walk your dog on a retractable leash. They will be less likely to get frustrated in the first place because the lack of tension that a retractable leash provides, and the space that the option of the space that a retractable leash provides. So if you have an overly reactive dog, you create space between that dog and you alleviate the amount of tension that the dog can experience, which causes that frustration of ramping up even more. Um, then you have a much better chance of the dog not even getting to that point. What kind of dog do you have? But yeah, they will. It's all about the tension, man. It's all about it's all about the tension, and then it's all about what the tool represents. And if it's a tool that's been used without the absence, I mean, without the presence of other ways to get what you want, then they will build a negative association with certain tools. Mal mixed. Yeah. So you already know that, you know, they're pretty adamant about getting what they want. The collar activate him forward. I'm not sure what that means. But but yeah, I know this for certain that if there are more, so let's say this. Here's what you do. You're walking. He's got to know that the prong collar is an addition to your voice, but not the only thing that is the means to control him. So you use your voice, and sometimes you don't use the e-collar or the prong collar at all, and then you use your voice again. Heel, heel, no. In that, so sort of that series, I'm kind of walking through it, what I would do, but heel and then leave time and then leave and then give a leash correction. That way, the dog clearly knows that it only gets the prong collar correction because it's not doing what you want it to do. Instead of, if it's just overly annoying it without enough direction verbally from you, then it will tend to maybe learn to be excuse me, the prong collar will be associated negatively with the dog if there's not enough guidance from you verbally. I hope that makes sense. um yes, correct. Louder, absolutely, yes. Hmm. Make sure he knows exactly why he's getting what he's getting so that he can make a better choice. So help him out. It's called layering. You layer your voice, you layer your physical correction with the leash, and you can layer it with another collar too. That's the other thing. The e-collar can do the same thing as well. So you got your e-collar, you got your who is this? You want to come join? Or was that a mistake? um so yeah, you might have to move to another tool so that you can again just diminish that association with what he has with the prong collar. So I would do is I could use the e-collar for heel, I could use the prong collar for heel, and then use your voice as well. Smart dog, you already know he knows what you want him to do. So yeah, hope that helps. Okay. Someone wants to join in. Okay, let's see. View request. You guys can join the conversation too on Facebook and YouTube if you click the link. Hello. Did you mean to join?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What's up?
Just want to hear what you got to say today.
Well, you can hear what I have to say. You don't have to be live with me unless you just want to be.
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep going then. Do you have a question?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right. So Madison says it seems like he feels the collar is the only boundary between him and the other dog. Oh, I gotcha. Leaning on it may help him feel the boundary is secure. I don't know if that helps. No, it does. I like that. Yeah, it's kind of what I was saying. If a dog is too reliant on a collar, they will only behave when it's on too. That's the other thing. You get collar smart dogs when when you when you put too much emphasis on one layer. So remember again, your verbal pressure is a layer, your leash correction and collar is a layer, and then if you add the e-collar, that's another layer. And all of those tools, excuse me, both of those tools, the e-collar and the prong collar, or any tool that you use for anything, should be joined in with your voice. Because when you take all that off, guess what layer still remains and will always be there? Your voice. So the point of tools is to add value to your commands. So make sure your verbal commands are there along with the prong collar, the e-collar, whatever collar you work with. I don't care. But obviously, right? Okay, I got you. Let me look for it. We got another question. Let's see. I don't see it. I don't see it. Ask it again if you don't mind. Yeah, ask it again. All right. So free feeding. Oh, here we go. I got it. I just stopped free feeding my dog because someone told me he was fat. I have been giving him a cup of food in the afternoon, but he has food left over in his bowl the following day. Do I still add another cup to his bowl or wait until the bowl is empty? Also, what's the best time of day to feed? I usually feed my dogs once a day in the morning, and that's it. If they don't eat their food, then they're not going to get it until the next morning. That's how you know he's fat though, because he leaves food in the bowl. I had a golden doodle get dropped off, and he had boarded with me a couple years back, and he showed up fat too. I was like, man, he looking a little husky now, ain't he? And they got all shy about it, and they were like, he just grew his coat out, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well, I'll take that, whatever. So how I know though is he's got food He's got dry food, then he's got toppers on his food. And I put the bowl down. That dog hasn't touched that dang thing in uh, a day and a half now. So I already know that dog, that's telling you that, the dog is overweight and it gets too much other food because it doesn't even touch its own food, even with the toppers thingies on it, right? That's how you know that dog is eating others' food. Mm-hmm. You can't fool me. I've been doing this too long. Okay. No other food though. Okay, so just too much of his dog food. Yeah, keep in mind guys that food can sometimes determine the mood. Sometimes the food can keep your dog being more reactive. Check their diet. If they're not on a good diet and you're having reactivity issues, a lot of that could go away with the right diet. So if you guys want food recommendations, I can give you that. Because I definitely have helped dog become less aggressive when they're on the right food. Your dog should be eating 2 cups a day. That's it. So scoop up 2 cups, put it in his bowl. If for whatever reason he gets too small, then you can add a cup or add half a cup. But I think for your dog, your size or his size, he'd be just fine with 2 cups once a day. Hell, you can put 2.5 cups in there, whatever. But that's about it. All right. All right, guys. Those of you who just joined on Facebook and or YouTube or Instagram, ask any question you like. We are talking about what to do with your dog during the holidays because so many people have incidents. I get a bunch of calls after the holidays that, oh, he bit my cousin, he bit my auntie, jumped on my grandma, bit my grandmother. Like, don't let your dog, don't let your dog be a hole to your family members. Then it creates all kinds of weird turmoil between you and your family members just because you wanted your dog to be out and everything to be happy and all that good stuff. It's like, no, be responsible. Don't prioritize his happiness. Be responsible. Don't let your loved ones get jumped on, bit, barked at, growled. Don't let your dog dictate that. That's crazy. Enjoy your family. Allow them to enjoy their time with you. Okay? They don't have to be involved in everything. Maybe once they calm down, but make sure they calm down. Don't let them get all crazy with your family members, man. All right. All right. Well, looks like I think I've got about 10 more minutes left, guys. Okay. So any last questions about anything, feel free to comment in and yeah, let's get it in. So I just sent home today a Rottie puppy, a Husky mix, and a Dalmatian. I haven't worked with a Dalmatian in years. And this Dalmatian was I had talked about him earlier a little bit, so I won't talk about him too much more, but he was mixed with Pointer because in certain Dalmatian bloodlines there was a disease that breeders are trying to avoid, so they are bringing in similar looking breeds. And so this dog's head looks just like an English Pointer, but the rest of the body and the fur coat, the coat color is Dalmatian, obviously. But check him out. He's on my YouTube. He kind of looks pretty cool next to Oakley, who has the cow coat pattern too. Okay, she says we got another question. AMMKK says, what's your opinion for another tool like pet corrector, possibly with high leash reactive dogs. That's fine. Yeah, that can work too. I would start off by like, so the pet corrector is you can kind of argue it's the same philosophy for all collars, all corrections. And the goal is to stop a dog from escalating or pause the dog during escalation or during reactivity, during reaction. So you're walking down the street, dog looks, there it is. It starts the reaction. The pet corrector can just make the dog go, huh? Or the prong collar can make the dog go, oh. Or same with the e-collar. But what it allows you to do is the opportunity to become relevant to the dog in some way. So he'll go, huh? And then be able to receive heel or no or stop or whatever you say. So those are kind of what the tools are there for in some ways. It's there to interrupt. It's there to cut the fuse. It's there to say, hey, stop. Just be nice. Don't do that. So same with the pet corrector. And you can start off, if you have a sensitive dog to noise, you can start off by just kind of squeezing the trigger away from the dog. Dog's on your left side, you can point it that way, the opposite way, and you can just go like that. And then he goes, huh? And then you go, heel. And then he goes, oh. And then he goes back to it. Then you go, then he goes, huh? Then you go, heel. Then he goes, oh. And you do that enough times, and then he's going to go, he's look at that dog, and he's going to be like, you going to do that thing again? And then you're going to go, heel. Then he's going to go, oh. But you see how you have to create that anticipation of something that is kind of obnoxious. That's how you're going to get him through certain things like that. Yeah. You guys like when I play dog? Shit's funny. Anyway, guys, all right, I got to get going. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, or whatever it may be. If you found it valuable at all, it just helps out the channel overall. But I'll be going live next week sometime. I'll let you guys know, and we'll do it again. All right, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. See you later. Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you want to do. Have a good time. Don't let your dog bite your grandma. Jesus Christ.